All right, so let's start talking about how, like, what we actually do with percentages. How do we use them? So the goal is that after this, we can answer questions like, what is 80% of $50? Or like in Family Feud, when they say, we surveyed this many people, and 20% said that. How many people is that? Stuff like that. So we're going to say that we can find the missing value in a percent proportion. And so let's remember what the word proportion means, and that two ratios are proportional when they are equivalent. So remember that ratios can be written as fractions, and equivalent means that when I reduce them, I get the same thing. So this idea of things being proportional lets us set up stuff like this that says this side equals this side. So we can use that knowledge of these are equivalent, they're representing the same thing, they're related to the same situation, to find a missing value. Okay. So this is our percent proportion. So if you're someone who likes to highlight stuff, this is going to be it, okay? That's like the main thing. So we have the part over the whole equals the percent over 100. And then next to it, I put keywords that it usually goes with. So usually the smaller part of a fraction is around the word is. And then what it's out of, like the total or the bigger piece, usually goes with the word of. So the percent is the number that goes with the percent sign. So that should usually be one that you can just find by looking at it. Then the part is the thing that's being divided or split up, the smaller piece, and it typically goes with the word is. And then the whole is whatever the thing is out of, that the number that is doing the dividing. And we'll typically see it with the word of. So maybe you've learned this before as is over of equals the percent over 100. Maybe you've heard that. But I like to think of it as part and whole, like what is it out of, what's the total, is it the smaller portion, the bigger portion, stuff like that. And so then here's some steps. So instead of words, we're going to plug in the numbers that we know. You're going to cross multiply and then solve. So again, if you're highlighting, this might be a good section to highlight. My highlighter's not. So it's the last leg. So, all right. So starting with just some of these, no, like less words, not a word problem. Okay. So what number is 20% of 82.25? So the part is the number, it usually goes with the word is. So maybe we want to write that. The whole typically goes with the word of. And the percent is the number with a percent sign. So immediately I see 20%. So the 20 has a percent sign. So that's going to go with the percent. Then I see the word of. Let's put a box around this one. And that is next to 82.25. So of goes with the whole. And then we're going to underline the last bit. And then it says what number is. So what is? We don't know. So let's put a question mark there. I don't know what 20% of 82.25 is. So then we're going to start by writing our proportion. So the part over the whole is equal to the percent over 100. Oh, here's my calculator. You can use calculator, no shame. So then instead of these words, I'm going to put in the numbers or symbols that represent them. So we do not know what the part is. So instead of the word part, I'm going to put a question mark. Then over the whole is 82.25. And then we know that it's equal to our 20, that's our percent, over 100. So then we can cross multiply. So the thing we don't know, our question mark times 100 is going to be equal to, cross multiply the other way, 82.25 times 20. So then I'm going to go through, I'm going to multiply what I can, what I know how to multiply. So let's do 82.25 times 20 is 1,645. I'm just making sure I typed that correctly. And then on this side, we still have a question mark times 100. So what do you suppose I should do right here to get rid of this 100 times 100? Well, we're going to do the opposite, right? We get rid of things by doing the opposite. So instead of timesing by 100, we're going to divide by 100. So then those go away, but we still have a question mark. So our question mark equals 16.45. So 16.45 out of 82.25, right? That's what it's out of, is 20%. Next one, 3 is what percent of 24? Well, the first thing I notice is that I do not have a percent sign, and it says what percent. We don't know, so that's where our question mark goes. So if I don't see a percent sign, and I looked really, really hard and I double checked, then that's the thing we don't know. Now I see is, and the only number next to it is 3. And we're going to put a box around the other one. And I see the word of just next to 24. So the whole is 24. Okay, then our formula or our proportion is that the part over the whole is equal to the percent over 100. So instead of the word part, I'm going to replace it with this number 3. Over, then instead of the word whole, I'm going to replace it with 24, is equal to, I do not know what percent, So that's where my question mark goes. Over 100. Now I'm going to cross multiply. We have 24 times our question mark is equal to, cross multiply the other way, 3 times 100. Then I'm going to multiply what I can. I can do 3 times 100, just 300. So 24 times our question mark, the thing we don't know, is 300. So now I'm going to get rid of this 24. It's doing multiplication right now, so I'm going to do the opposite thing to get rid of it. So we're left with our question mark. And then 300 divided by 24 is 1.25. Oh, that's wrong. 300, not 30. My goodness. There we go. And then we were initially looking for a percent, so I need to put a percent sign on it. So if they said 3 out of 24 students' favorite class is math, that would be 12.5% of those students have a favorite class of math. All right, I'm going to go a little faster. So 7.5 of what number is 80 is 80. So I see 7.5 is my percent. It says of what we don't know. That's where my question mark goes. And then is 80. So our proportion is that the part over the whole equals the percent over 100. So instead of part, I'm going to put 80 over. We do not know what the whole is. So I put my question mark there. Equals 7.5% over 100. Then we're going to cross multiply. 80 times 100 equals, cross multiply the other way, our question mark times 7.5. We can do 80 times 100 is 8,000. And then we can't do the question mark times 7.5 because we don't know what that is. So I'm going to leave that the same. I like to just write it and do one step at a time. Okay, so I need to get rid of this thing by doing the opposite. So I'm going to divide by 7.5. That gets rid of those. We're left with a question mark. And then 1066.6, and that 6 repeats.